Hey y'all, Big Tim here, and thanks for tuning in for my video of the 2019 Triton Owners Tournament. What we're looking at here is this is the meeting that we go to. Yeah, there's always a pre-tournament meeting talking about all the different rules and all kinds of other things, and also giveaways. The meetings drag on forever. That's the one thing I really don't like about the Triton Owners Tournament. But hey, I won a $500 gift card to Bass Pro Shops, so that was pretty cool. So it was, I guess, worth the time. Like I said in the practice video, Dad and I had our own private ramp. So instead of waiting in line to put our boat in with everybody else, we put in our own ramp and then drove down by water to check in. Now for the Triton tournament to check in, you either have to go through the main line and launch at the main dock, or main ramp I should say, or you get to check in at the gas dock, which is where we're headed here. So you'll have to excuse the bug that we hit on the way, but yeah, I didn't know it was there or else I would have wiped it off. You'll notice here on the right, you'll see the Nina and Pinta, the replicas of Christopher Columbus's ships. Don't know where the Santa Maria was, but anyway, that was pretty cool to see those there. So when you go to the gas dock to check in, they're obviously checking your live wells, making sure you got your lights in and everything else, but they also give you biscuits and coffee, which neither Dad nor I drink coffee, but we sure do like those biscuits in the morning. We generally save them for a late morning snack or lunch or something like that. So here we are, we're headed out to blast off, and I just thought the sunrise was too pretty not to show on video. So we get to look at that. And when I see things like this is when I think it's time for classical music. And I know I got some negative responses about the classical music before, but you know what? There's all different kinds of music, and I'm probably going to not make everybody happy with my musical choices, but that's what we've got here. I just thought those were too pretty not to be classical. So originally, as you can see, I was headed toward Standing Rock Bay. I think it's called First Bay after the bridge. And it was just a giant fog bank. So I made a U-turn and decided to go to a spot Dad and I have fished almost every year there. And occasionally, about half the time, we've caught fish there pretty decently. So I'm headed straight for this bank. There's one boat in front of me, and as you can see, the one boat decides he's going to go right there too. So at the last minute, I veer off and head on back. So anyway, it was still fun. You know, we went to a different spot of the lake, tried different things, mostly a Carolina rig. And that's what you're seeing here, me setting up my Carolina rig for the morning. And we caught a few fish on it. Even caught a couple smallmouth, but the smallmouth were very small, maybe 11 inches. So they didn't even make camera. When I caught something that small, I didn't even come in and show the camera. So there's not a lot of catches on this segment, but still fun, and it's, I think, gorgeous scenery. So check it out and enjoy. Well, that was our day one of the Triton Owners Tournament 2019. And as you can see, it was pretty brutal. In fact, it was the first time Dad and I didn't weigh a limit for the Triton Tournament. We've been going 8 years. This is our 8th year, not in a row. We either missed 2015 or 2016. Can't remember which one, but we did miss one particular year. Yeah, we didn't weigh a limit. First time in those 8 years that we didn't weigh a limit the first day. So it was also a big shock that it was our first time that we didn't weigh a fish the first day. We didn't catch a keeper. Dad had one that was close. It was about 14 7/8. He caught it on a spinnerbait. Yeah, it wasn't 15, which is what we need. So yeah, we went to check in empty-handed. Didn't cross the stage. But, it was still a fairly fun day. Pretty aggravating, you kind of beat your head on the wall. We did give up a little bit early because it comes to a point, I know Iaconelli says never give up, but, there's a certain point where you stop banging your own head against the wall, because that's what we were doing. We basically sat on 2 or 3 ledges that we actually caught a couple keepers. We caught 2 keepers in practice. So we stayed on 2 of those ledges for a lot longer time, hoping some more keepers would show up there, thinking they're going to be here soon. Well, that soon may have been more like weeks as opposed to days or hours. But so we sat on a couple ledges for way too long, hoping fish would come to us, and it just never happened. And we never caught a keeper. So it was pretty brutal for us. So day 2, we decided to change things up. We went to a totally new area of the lake, tried going to the back of the creek. We actually went to the back of West Sandy. I've done decently in the past back there. We actually started out on a deep channel bank leading out of a spawning area, thinking, hey, maybe some of these post-spawn fish have pulled up on this deep channel bank. We tried topwater. We tried Carolina rig. Didn't work. So we tried some stake beds. We have caught fish pretty decently in stake beds right after the spawn. They kind of pull in there and relax. And yeah, that didn't work for us either. So after that, we just kind of scrambled around and really didn't get any footage because it was just so horrible. I thought, why post it? There may have been some pretty scenery, stuff like that, but not much worth showing. So I just didn't bother with that. So this is the first year. We caught 0 fish for the tournament. We did not cross the stage. There were 312 boats this year, and I think 100 of us blanked, which, that's kind of normal. About 100 boats blanking, but it's not normal for Dad and I. Dad and I have normally at least been in the top half. And to be in the bottom third this time was really a kick in the teeth. And, just still doesn't sit well with me. But, things happen. I do know that, like I said, we had 312 boats. Last year, I think we were almost at 400. And we've been real close to 400 for the last 3, 4, 5 years. I also know that if we'd have caught the weight that we weighed in last year, I'm pretty sure we would have been in the top 20 or 25. I looked at it a week or so ago and thought, wow, if we'd have done what we did last year, we could have had a pretty good check. So the weights were down, except for the top 3 or 4 boats. Obviously, those guys caught them well. A good friend of mine, you may remember I mentioned him in the Bassmaster Classic, Matt Robertson, won the tournament with his partner, and they had 3 fish limit each day. That's your limit at the Triton Owners Tournament, 3 fish per day. And they had a total of 6 fish that weighed about 31 pounds something. So Matt's on them real well. He's catching them. And that's his motto, on them. He'll have a hat that says on them. So Matt and I guess I told you once before, Matt and I were on my first state team together back in 2010 or 11. So we've been kind of friendly. He'll generally make his way to find me to talk to me if he knows I'm around. He's a really good guy. So anyway, I talked to him for a little bit, and he was telling me that he thinks the lake is about 3 weeks beyond, or 3 weeks behind schedule, and that makes sense. But it was totally different. It was definitely totally different. We couldn't figure out, if they're not on the ledges yet, we couldn't figure out where they were. You'd think if they're not on the ledges, maybe they're on the points leading out of the spawning bays. Couldn't get bit there. Maybe you're on the riprap coming out of the spawning bays. Couldn't get bit there. Maybe they're still back in the spawning bays. Couldn't get bit there. So we were left scratching our heads when we were all finished with this tournament. And I'm still scratching my head. I still don't know what I could have done to catch fish other than, go way up north or way down south. Those were the two options. I think that people did decently well on. So I'm sorry I didn't get a lot of fish catches for Kentucky Lake. I didn't want this to be a total waste of a video. And I guess maybe it kind of is if you're here tuning in for some fish catching. But hey, as I've heard before, they're not all positive. Sometimes you've got to let people know that other people go through struggles too. And right now I'm going through a bad, serious drought. I haven't caught fish in the Triton tournament. I haven't caught fish on my last 3 or 4 outings on the Ohio River. I'm 0 for June. And right now it's mid-June, June 15th. I'm 0 for June. And that's a pretty horrible feeling because this is normally my time of year. This is normally when I catch them pretty good. But yeah, not so much. Anyway, hopefully the fish will start turning on and we'll start posting some video catches and some interesting content is coming up. I'm going to have some tips telling you, how to rig up different things. And I still want to get that. I really thought I was going to have a Whopper Plopper episode to show you down at Kentucky Lake, but that didn't happen either. I can't wait to get that Whopper Plopper episode out. We got to get it filmed yet, right? We got to find some place that they're ready to eat it. But we'll have some cool stuff coming up soon. So please tune in, and thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.